Pakta invites you to discover a podcast about new features of ChatGPT. Pakta's artificial intelligence training courses are offered in French, but they can be easily translated into your language using your browser. With Pakta Learning, easily train yourself in artificial intelligence. Visit ia.pakta.com website.
All right, so get this. Remember how we were just talking about wanting a smarter way to work with AI on like bigger projects?
Yeah.
It's like OpenAI was actually listening.
Right.
They just dropped this new thing called Canvas.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting stuff. It's definitely a significant shift, I think.
Okay.
Instead of that back and forth chat like you're talking about, Canvas is designed for collaboration. Think of it less like instant messaging and more like Google Docs, but with GPT-4 turbocharged.
Oh, so it's not just like a cosmetic change.
you-
They actually like retrained the AI differently for this.
Exactly. Yeah, they had to teach it when to open a canvas, make specific edits versus doing like a full rewrite.
Mm-hmm.
And even how to write like helpful comments, which is, believe it or not, surprisingly complex for these AIs.
Yeah, I can imagine. Okay, that's huge for anyone who's used ChatGPT because like those comments, it's hit or miss. Sometimes they're good. Sometimes they're like, what are you talking about? So walk us through it. What's this actually look like in action?
So imagine you're, let's say, writing a blog post.
Okay.
Canvas lets you highlight text, and then you can ask ChatGPT to adjust the length. You can ask it to make it, readable for a fifth grader or readable for, a college graduate. You can even add polish emojis.
Okay.
Although one source did mention that it can get a bit emoji heavy at times, so hopefully they'll fine tune that.
Yeah, I can see that happening. But what about like code? That's where this really grabbed my attention. What do they do?
Right, and the video demo really showed this off well. You can ask Canvas to review your code, add logs, add comments, and even fix bugs in one click. They even showed it translating code into different languages on the fly, which is pretty wild.
No way. That's what. Did they say anything about how they pulled that off?
Yeah, they're using this, it's called synthetic data generation. And basically what that means is they're training the AI on its own outputs to refine its behaviors. So they don't need, tons and tons of human labeled data. So it's a pretty clever way to train it.
Okay, so for a listener who, might not be like, coding up a storm every day, but is using AI for writing or research.
Sure.
What would you say is like the key takeaway here?
This signals a move towards AI as a true thought partner. It's early days, right? But Canvas shows how we might move beyond these simple prompts into a more nuanced collaborative workflow.
What an exciting thought. But before we get ahead of ourselves, let's dive into the specifics, because our sources mentioned some really cool features, especially when it comes to writing. What kind of hands-on experience did they have with it?
With Pakta Learning, easily train yourself in artificial intelligence. Visit ia.pakta.com website.
Well, both sources were incredibly impressed with the user friendliness. They said it feels very intuitive, almost like using a word processor, but with AI assistance, like seamlessly integrated.
That's reassuring to hear because, a lot of times with AI stuff, it can get very technical very quickly.
Right.
So what specific features stood out to them?
One source raved about the ability to fine-tune the text. Imagine highlighting a section and with a single click, adjusting the length, tweaking the reading level. Like you were saying, you could make it suitable for a middle schooler or a PhD candidate, all with just like a couple clicks.
Now, that's what I call a game changer. The time-saving potential alone is incredible.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially for anyone working with different audiences.
Exactly. And if you need a little extra help understanding a particular term or concept, Canvas acts like a built-in encyclopedia.
Oh, nice.
Providing explanations without altering the original text.
It's like having a walking, talking encyclopedia right there in your document.
Yeah, exactly.
That's got to be helpful for technical terms or when you're diving into these niche subjects where it's like, I don't even know what this word means.
Precisely. And if you're not happy with a particular word choice, it functions like a supercharged thesaurus.
Okay.
It's offering up a wider range of alternatives than you could probably think of on your own.
Okay, I'm liking where this is going. But what about that final polish feature they mentioned? Does it live up to the hype?
According to the source who tested it out, absolutely. They said it helped with grammar, it ensures consistency throughout the text, and it even improves section titles for better readability.
So it's like having a whole team of editors like crammed into your computer,
Right.
all working for free.
Exactly.
But let's talk about those emojis for a second.
Sure.
They sound like a recipe for both delightful surprises and like potential disasters.
Yeah, well, the source did admit that if you're not careful, things can get a bit emoji heavy. Apparently, the initial output, it included way more emojis than necessary. However, they were able to dial it back by like specifying the exact number they wanted.
Okay, so you have some control over it.
Right.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
It seems like with any powerful tool, it's all about learning the ropes and finding that right balance.
For sure.
But hey, at least you can have a little fun with it, right?
Yeah.
Speaking of fun, let's circle back to the coding side of things for a minute.
Okay.
They mentioned something about like coding a checkers game with Canvas.
Right.
Did it actually work?
It's funny you should ask.
Right.
The source actually tried coding a checkers game in Python using Canvas, and the results were surprisingly impressive.
Really?
They even said it was the closest they'd ever come to creating a fully functional game with ChatGPT.
Wow, so we're not just talking lines of code here. We're talking about a playable game.
Exactly.
Wow.
They were able to run the code on their computer
Okay.
and play a full game of checkers.
That's really impressive.
Yeah, there were a few hiccups along the way, of course.
Sure.
For instance, the game initially didn't understand how to capture an opponent's piece.
Okay.
But here's where the real magic happens.
Okay.
They were able to use the chat feature within Canvas
Okay.
to provide feedback and ask for specific fixes.
So it's not just a one-way street?
Exactly.
You're not stuck with whatever code it spits out.
Right.
You can actually have a conversation with Canvas and collaborate to achieve, like, the desired result.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
That takes AI partnership to a whole new level.
Precisely. And what's remarkable is that the source was able to accomplish all of this.
With Pacta Learning, easily train yourself in artificial intelligence. Visit ia.pacta.com website.
Without needing to be like an expert coder themselves.
Okay.
They simply used, natural language prompts to guide the AI, making it accessible, even for those who aren't, fluent in Python or C.
That's a key point because this kind of accessibility is essential for like democratizing the power of AI.
Right.
You shouldn't need a computer science degree to leverage these tools.
Yeah, totally agree.
What other insights did they share about the coding capabilities of Canvas?
Well, they raved about how Canvas streamlines the entire coding process.
Oh.
It's not just about generating code, it's about making the whole workflow more efficient.
Right.
They highlighted features for reviewing code, adding logs and comments, for clarity, and even that mind-blowing ability to translate code into different programming languages on the fly.
Right.
But the one that really impressed them,
Yeah.
the one that almost seemed too good to be true,
Okay.
was the one-click bug fix feature.
Okay. Now that sounds like something straight out of a science fiction movie.
Right.
A one-click bug fix.
Yeah.
How does that even work?
So imagine you're staring at a block of code, completely stumped by a bug that's been haunting you for hours.
Yeah.
With Canvas, you can simply highlight the problematic code,
Okay.
click a button, and the AI swoops in to analyze and fix the issue for you.
Wow.
It's like having a superpowered debugger at your fingertips.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder if programmers will even need to know how to debug their own code in the future, or if AI will just handle all the heavy lifting.
Right.
But even for someone like me who, doesn't spend all day every day writing code, the potential here is undeniable. It's clear that Canvas is a game changer, but I'm curious about the bigger picture here.
Oh.
How does this new workflow, this collaborative approach actually change the creative process?
That's a fantastic question.
Yeah.
And I think it gets to the heart of what makes this update so significant.
Okay.
What we're witnessing is a shift from AI as a mere tool to AI as a true creative partner.
I like that.
Yeah.
AI as a creative partner.
Yeah.
But what does that partnership actually look like in practice? Paint us a picture.
Sure. Okay, so imagine this.
Yeah.
You're working on a project. Maybe it's a presentation,
Okay.
a research paper, or even a piece of music.
Okay.
Instead of wrestling with a blank page,
Yeah.
you have this AI partner by your side,
Okay.
ready to brainstorm ideas, offer suggestions,
Okay.
and help you shape your thoughts into something tangible.
So less like staring at a blinking cursor and more like bouncing ideas off of a colleague.
Exactly.
Except this colleague has access to like a vast database of knowledge
Right.
and can generate content at like lightning speed.
Exactly. And it's not just about that initial brainstorming either.
Mm-hmm.
Canvas seems to excel at that, iterative back and forth.
Right.
That's so crucial to the creative process.
Right.
You can experiment with different approaches, refine your ideas,
Okay.
and get feedback in real time,
Mm-hmm.
all within this collaborative workspace.
That's huge because as anyone who has ever tried to create anything knows, it's rarely a linear process.
Right.
It's messy. It's about trying things out,
Sure.
hitting dead ends, and going back to the drawing board.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like Canvas actually embraces that reality.
Absolutely, yeah. And as AI models like GPT-4 continue to evolve,
Right.
we can expect this collaborative aspect to become even more sophisticated.
Okay.
Imagine, being able to visualize your ideas with AI, create mind maps, or even, co-compose music
Wow.
in entirely new ways.
Okay.
The possibilities are truly mind-boggling.
It really makes you wonder what the future holds for human-AI collaboration.
Yeah.
If this is just a taste of what's to come, where will we be in a year?
Right.
5 years?
Yeah.
10 years?
Who knows?
It's both exciting and a little bit daunting to think about.
It certainly is. But for now, I think the key takeaway for our listener is this.
Yeah.
Kansas isn't just another incremental update.
Mm-hmm.
It represents a fundamental shift in how we interact with AI,
Okay.
a move towards a more intuitive, collaborative, and ultimately more human-centered approach to creation.
And that's something worth getting excited about. Well, that's about all the time we have for today's deep dive.
Yeah.
Be sure to check out the show notes for links to everything we talked about, and join us next time for another deep dive into the world of AI.
See it.
Pacta invites you to discover a podcast about new features of ChatGPT. Pacta's artificial intelligence training courses are offered in French, but they can be easily translated into your language using your browser. With Pacta Learning, easily train yourself in artificial intelligence. Visit ia.pacta.com website.